Give me coffee in the morning, gotta have the caffeine. Wake me up, shake me up, dip me like a lussie. One sip, two sips, and I'm feeling so alive. Coffee in the morning, it's the best way to survive. Woke up in the morning, sleepy eyes yawning. Jumped out of bed, started the day, opened the curtains. Felt the cool breeze, the sun shining on my face. But something was missing, I needed my job to chase. Give me coffee in the morning, give me coffee in the morning, gotta have the caffeine. Wake me up, shake me up, dip me like a lussie. One sip, two sips, and I'm feeling so alive. Coffee in the morning, it's the best way to survive.
Good morning, everyone. Excuse me, I had my mic turned up, jacked up to Jesus, as they say. It wasn't anywhere near my mouth. Act like I don't know what I'm doing over here. Welcome in, everybody. Good morning. Y'all know the routine. Get comfy. Grab your drinks, your coffee, your Coke, water, whatever. Whiskey, I don't care. Welcome in. Good morning, Carrie. How's the baby doing this morning? Butterfly, welcome in. My mod team, Forrest, thank you for being here. Did Miss Brandy slide in? Good to see you, ma'am. Good morning. Good morning. All right, guys. Now, I did not stream yesterday. I was feeling some kind of way the last couple of days, and I'm going to tell you why. That big old giant full moon that was sitting up there above me, she just kind of messes with me from time to time. We have a whole ass, oops, I can't cuss first thing in the morning on the YouTubes. We have a whole relationship, me and the moon, and it affects me from time to time. And sometimes I don't even realize what's happening. Why am I in a mood? Oh, that'd be why. Look up. She has her way. All right. We're wrapping up the full moon phase. We're going to be moving into the new moon phase. Y'all get busy. You got work to do. If you know, you know. Oh, you got phone carries on our phone. Let's see. House phone, laptop. Y'all know I am always on my phone. Everything is conducted just about, if I could go live from my phone and do all the functions that I can do from the PC, that's what I would be doing. Because I'm just so good with that phone, and I want to sit outside and all the things. Almost everything I do is from my phone. I can't get away from it. Even editing videos that I put up on YouTube, it's all done on my phone. I take it around with me. I listen to live streams while I'm doing stuff all around the house. All the things. All right, guys. Hopefully your week is not taking its toll on you. Hopefully you're having a good week. Getting by with life. Let's see here. Sorry, I had to check a couple of messages. All right. Okay. Check that. Okay. All right. So you guys remember the little leaked prison video that came out with Brian Kohberger that someone videoed from the monitor where he was being, surveillance in the prison. And then they leaked it out into the world. We were all like, oh, we finally get some footage of Brian Kohberger. Because let me tell you, I'm a little annoyed, which y'all are probably used to that. But I'm really annoyed with Idaho. I'm a little bit of annoyed that I don't have enough on Brian Kohberger to talk about Brian Kohberger, the man sitting in Idaho State Penitentiary for, let me be YouTube friendly, because that $3 or $4 I might make on ad rolls today might come in handy to help pay for a little bit of something, something here. Anyway, we don't have enough on Brian Kohberger. That the world wants everybody to stop talking about roommates and survivors and this and that and the other. Well, give me something else to talk about. So we got a little prison leak video, and we're all laughing like, who cares? He's in prison. It ain't like he's getting out in a week, 2 weeks, 10 years. It might be a little embarrassing. Nobody's getting in trouble for it. I think that's quite funny. Like, duh. In my mind, I'm thinking whoever took that video's got 1 foot out the door already. They don't care, right? What have I got to lose? I'm going out with a bang. And apparently they know who did it, but the person quit their job before they could be fired. The phone can make you lazy. I don't do voice stuff. I might tell Google to search up something real quick, but generally I type it. There's no right or wrong way, right? It's not going to keep the feds off your phone if something bad happens. Just all, well, depends if you got Cellebrite on the case and how much time passes before the cops catch you with your little phone. I don't like telling I feel like my phone has all your secrets, right? It knows your everything better than anybody else on the face of the earth. Even that secret stuff that you don't want nobody to know you're doing, your phone knows. I'm not so sure if I like that. I do not like being spied on by anybody unless I approve it beforehand. I don't plan to be in the middle of an investigation either, so there's that. Good morning, Dandy. Welcome in, Sirius Black, my girl, over here listening this morning. Ma'am's got to work this evening, so get you some rest later today before you have to go in for that big shift tonight. One of our resident nurses here. We have 2. We have Miss Sirius and we have Miss Firefly. Okay, so let's look at this article that came down about it. I think it's dropped sometime yesterday, I think. Old Statesman put it out. They wanted you to pay a paywall to read their little article, but somebody else also put it out and didn't charge me a dime to read their little article. So we're going to look at theirs. Oh, did it come up under the Statesman anyway? Well, that's crazy because it's not even their website that I was at. Anyway, let's see if it'll work. Make me hit a darn paywall. Okay, we didn't. It works. Yay. Sometimes you can read the article once, you go back and you try to screen share and show everybody. It's like, oh, no, no, no. Once was all you get. Okay. So this is from the Idaho Statesman, and this is the, and in case you guys missed it, there is a YouTube short on the channel. It got quite a, decent little views there, but I love that little video. Sometimes when I'm bored and I think about it, it'll pop into my head. I'm like, let me go watch this dude stand there and wipe down his crock for a minute. Psychoanalyze this weirdo. Weirdo is not a cuss word. The source of a security. I'm sorry, guys. I'm having an attitude this morning with the YouTubes. There's some kind of little video I can go watch in the back end back here about profanity on the YouTube. I'm like, is that directed at me? What are you talking about? Somebody been listening. The source of a security footage leak of Brian Kohberger in an Idaho prison cell remains undiscovered. Wait, this is the wrong article. No wonder it was the Statesman. It does not remain undiscovered. We know who did it. Well, we don't know, but they know. Sorry, guys, my bad. Let me pull up the correct information because we don't want to be putting out misinformation over here. Somebody will call us out on that. I'd expect them to. Okay. Identified. Yes, we like some identifying stuff. Okay, now we're cooking with Crisco, as they'd say, as my granny would say. All right, here we go. People are probably going, what is Crisco? Oh gosh, No criminal charges will be filed against the corrections officer suspected of recording and releasing prison security footage of Brian Kohberger, the man serving life in prison for killing 4 University of Idaho students, state police told the Idaho Statesman. So they're quoting Fixler's information. Prison officials and the Idaho Statesman, or Idaho police, concluded their investigation into the leak of the video, which the state prison system said last month was determined to be authentic. So no more of that it's AI stuff. Y'all can stop it. Not y'all, but the Kohbergers, them people that say that's fake. We live in a world where everything is fake now. I can't trust nothing. And it is in clear violation of Idaho Department of Correction policy. After the footage made its way online in August, prison leadership committed to finding the person holding them accountable, including the termination and potentially criminal prosecution. Investigators said they settled on the male IDOC worker responsible, state police spokesperson Aaron Snell told the Statesman. But even if the prison system strictly prohibits filming a security video feed, it was found the action did not rise to the level of breaking state or federal law. Not quite like 4 quadruple murders, right? The employee quit their job with the state prison system before he could be fired. I wonder how long he actually worked there. So there's quite a turnover in places like that. Some are long-termers, just like the prisoners. Some are like, whoa, this is not for me. I'm out. Peace out. Can I get a job at the jail and be a bailiff somewhere? I hear they got it pretty good. Well, I don't know. Go ask Ben Fields. You might change your mind. Dang it, man. The individual responsible for the policy violation was identified and has since left the agency. IDOC spokesperson Sanda Kuzetta, I don't even know this lady's name, said in an emailed statement. The case was referred to the Idaho State Police, which determined there was insufficient evidence to pursue criminal charges. How is there insufficient evidence if they know the guy's name and they know you recorded it from the monitor? That y'all just don't care. Call it what it is. You got evidence, obviously. But because he's no longer employed, but he was employed at the time. Okay. We pick and choose. Kohberger 30. Oh, hell no. Get out of here. Kohberger 30 was sentenced in July to 4 consecutive life prison terms for murdering the 4 University of Idaho undergrads in Moscow in November 2022. A plea agreement reached with the prosecutors. He accepted no chance of parole and waived all of his rights to appeal in exchange for dropping the death penalty. Blah, 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 blah. Of course, the victims were Madison, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. That's your 4 victims. Victims. The survivors were survivors. All right, so nothing's going to happen to that guy, y'all. And that's okay. I mean, I guess. I don't really have a dog in that hunt. I got bigger true crime cases to look at versus the guy in the corner filming Brian's video, right? Forrest, we saw the evidence, ma'am. What kind of word salad is that we just was introduced to? That was a new type. Yeah, they did it. We got the evidence, but we really don't. It's insufficient. It's circumstantial at best. We can't make a case on that. Y'all know that. Well, you was about to have a big one on the Brian Kohberger. Well, except for all that little sheath business. Except for that little sheath business. All right, guys, there's been no real big, huge updates in any of the other cases. I got to check the Morphew case docket later today. It's sitting here on the desk, and I don't even know if anything has been filed lately. Mr. Barry over there trying to be all secretive. Don't look at me. Don't talk about me. Do not stream a trial, all that stuff. We can't with that guy. So we have to keep an eye on that case. There's been no arrest in Celeste case. We know that they've had her funeral and everything, so all we can do is wait on that one. And I'm still working on. I want to bring. So I'm trying to get to a point where I get a better schedule for the live stream and give myself time in between my live streams, because I really want to work on the content, right? And if I'm just running with what's coming out overnight or what happened throughout the day, I'm not having the conversations I want to have around some of this stuff. So I'm still working on a comprehensive show for Letcher County, because the story is big, the story goes deep, and there's a lot of different layers to it. And it's going to be for anybody new coming into that. And I think there's a lot of people who are coming into it. They're picking it up, seeing what's on YouTube. They're hearing things. A good beginning to where we are now type of show, right? And so I've been going over, and y'all check out Appalachian Dreams. Go give that channel a thumbs up. Give the girls a like. Watch her videos. Her watch hours, getting them up, getting everything boosted for her. Taya has a lot to offer, and so does Brandy, outside of Letcher County and what is going on there. So I'm looking forward to what they do in the future, that may not even be true crime related. And we'll get to that at some point. But I had a little chat with Brandy yesterday. And for some reason, something about Brandy just drew me to her. I felt connected to Brandy. It's hard to explain. I'm sorry, Taya. Brandy is sweet, and Brandy actually reminds me of my sister. One of my sisters a lot. I mean, it's a little weird, but she reminds me of my sister. Taya and I just seem to connect on a level that I don't connect a lot of people on, that understand some of the things I talk about and feel. But Brandy and Taya are getting it, or they got it, and I know that. So I'm like, they're my people. So you guys go over and check them out. And there's a lot that's going to be said about the victims in that town, and I want to make sure we do it fairly, right? And show and represent them the way they should be. Because I don't want it to be about a click and a view. I don't want it to be salacious. I don't want it to be all of those things, because my worry about that, when that starts to happen and you cross a line and you start doing it for sensationalism, clicks and views, and talking about things that may not even be relevant, are you helping the case at that point, or are you hurting a case at that point? When I mean hurting it, are people going to want to tune in? Are people going to want to tune in? Can they trust what you're telling them? Do they want to get behind what you're... It's just a lot of different things, right? When I'm listening to a live stream, I can laugh and cut up and think, oh, that's a really cool thing that person just said. But I'm also listening to the conversations, right? And all the things that are being said. There's just a lot to unpack with that story. So we're going to get to covering that. That will be something I really work on all weekend long, because I want to bring that out. There's a lot to unpack with that case as to what happened that day, leading up to the day of, and what's gone on since then. So we will get there. The Ellen Greenberg case, Sajoy, has all of us scratching our heads. Oh my goodness. Okay, I watched the Hulu 3-part special. I've watched that. I took some notes. We've had a couple of shows here on Ellen's case as well, but we need to do a bigger, deeper dive, right? A good comprehensive show on that as well, to get everybody up to speed. And hopefully her parents can finally start to get some darn answers, because we all know that case is messed up. You could just take one photo of Ellen and know what y'all said. What happened again? We're like, no. A layperson can walk into that room and say, that woman did not do that to herself. Are you kidding me? Also, a case I've kind of looked at from afar, right? Scrolling around the YouTube streets and whatnot. That Susan Simpson case, her sister was arrested for like harassing Susan's husband's family. I guess he's on trial, will be going to trial for her murder. I was like, what? I'm out there early in the morning, just woke up with my first cup of coffee going, what in the world? Who got arrested and did what? And then I realized it was about that case. Yeah, corruption at its finest, Pammy. We come out of the gate trying to get behind law enforcement. Okay, you got your guys, decent, good investigation. Yeah, okay, show us the evidence. And then we hear those corruption cases, and it's like, I just got a darn notification asking me to try Gemini in Google Chrome. No, I am the Gemini. Get out of here. It's been confusing for a long time for us. What's confusing is how they come out and thought people would believe that woman harmed herself. It's like, that's the head scratcher, right? And why would you cover? There's always a why. When corruption happens or a cover up starts, there's always a why would you do that? Why would you need to? So, what is it about Sam that caused the cover up? Family connections and ties? All cover ups are different, right? All the conspiracies are different. Bad cops over here, connections over here, my uncle, my cousin, uh, my high school teacher. I don't know. Are you willing to go put your entire life, career, everything, reputation online to cover for somebody, right? Or do you think that mass media or national media attention will never look your way? She's a nobody. He's a nobody. No one's going to care about what happened in my town last night. Really? Well, we'll be the judge of that. Yes, exactly. Nothing to see here. You guys are crazy conspiracy theorists. What are you talking about? Y'all don't know crime scenes. You didn't go to school for this. Blah, blah, blah. She, that girl is a trip. She's comical just to watch in court. Like, I literally just go watch the pieces that I see to see if she's going to jump up and shabusiness somebody today. She's like, let me out of these shackles, man. I won't jump up and attack anybody today. So that's my running joke. I'm gonna jump up and shabusiness you in about 5 seconds. And people are like, what in the world are you talking about? I'm like, don't worry about it. Just get prepared. It's coming. And like shabusiness, you won't even know until it happens. Lord, that girl's insane. Right. They want it to go away. And why would they, Pammy? Right? You don't want Ellen's parents nosing around asking questions and wondering what my daughter. No, no, that body was released to them. They know every single stab wound she had. They have the death certificate, the autopsy reports, everything, right? But they expect people to look the other way and take their word for it. Taking law enforcement's word for things is getting harder and harder, and I don't want to live in that world. I absolutely hate it, honestly. But Delphi, Indiana, Letcher County, Kentucky, man, Canton. Well, I don't know about that place. Apparently, there's a bunch of weird people living in and around Boston doing a bunch of weird things that I felt like were going on for a long, long time. The reason I did not watch the first Karen Reed trial. Boom. It didn't take much to figure out what was happening there, and it's all coming to light apparently. But I don't care. I got no dog in that hunt. Hey, Sleuthy, welcome in. Good morning, ma'am. Oh, another good resource for all things Delphi in a nice, neat, organized package that's not full of hoopla. Thank you, Sleuthy. You and All Eyes do a great job keeping everything together over there, and I appreciate it. I haven't covered Delphi a lot lately. I just, every time I think I want to, something turns me off. I have been reading and watching the appellate process because honestly, that's what matters now. It's slowly moving through all those darn documents. Oh, which reminds me, you and criminality have been moving through all of that, and I haven't even had a chance to go over and watch any of it. So if you guys want to get good Delphi updates, criminality is a good place to go tune in for that. A real good place. All right. So the other day we were having a discussion over here, and we got to talking about, the Cellebrite and the Kohberger things and all that. And somebody had mentioned another new interview that the Bernhardts did with Court TV, I think it was, or that Victim to Verdict show or whatever. And the one only one I watched and the most recent was the Delphi case, and I was like, man, okay, bunch of old clips here pieced together for what? And that's where I left it. And so I'm like, Anyway, they come out with another one, and it was on the Brian Kohberger case. Um, Huge gaps, Sleuthy. I've noticed you guys talking about that. I see the conversations being had, and I'm like, what in the world? Why? Why? After all this time, the man's convicted. Well, we're done here. So where's the transparency? Kind of like with Brian Kohberger, we got the parents upset. We got the media, being all sensitive. We've got YouTubers out here just trashing victims and survivors. Still not wanting you to talk about their boy and his weirdo selfies. Well, can we just turn around and blame the state of Idaho for all that, and the state of Pennsylvania, and the FBI? And I'm not going to leave you alone, WSU, because I still think if I was a cop and I found a 2015 white Hyundai Elantra, I wouldn't have went back and said, well, they're not looking for this year. So I'm not going to do anything about it, but just put this little note down here, and I don't know, maybe Dan Doolin kind of thing. I'll remember it one day. Hell, I don't even think he ever remembered what he did that one day when he met with RA and took a statement. I was there. Like, I feel like you just want to strangle some of these people. Oh, that might not have been the right phrase to use. Letcher County's a hop. Really, it's a hop, skip, and a jump from you. Oh, well, serious. Maybe you should do some driving around, boots on the ground. Brandy, you're not lying, because it's not something new that just happened, right? It's been going on for decades, and it run deep. Yeah, serious. We got a professor who's come out now and said, oh, that guy would have become a psychopath. He would have been the one to harass future students and blah, blah, blah. Really, lady? You thought that of him? Is that in a document somewhere? Before the crimes, during the crimes, during all the complaints WSU was receiving, you didn't have that little thought jumbling around your head? Or did that come up after he was convicted or after he was arrested? Oh, it's easy to go back now and say, oh yeah, I knew that guy was going to be a psychopath. Really? It's kind of like Celeste Rivas' teacher going to come out in front of his class and hold up his phone. I knew she was with this man. Really, sir? How long did you know that? Hmm. Give me more on Brian Kohberger. Please release the Pennsylvania or the FBI, whoever is control of the arrest video. We see arrest videos for so many people. We see the interrogation videos of so many people. Is all of that under seal in the documents that we can't see yet? Is it coming? When's it coming? I can pull up right now Rick Allen's interrogation with Jerry Holman, but I can't watch Brian Kohberger being interrogated. I don't understand why. I never understood why Rick Allen was thrown into a prison immediately and Kohberger got to go sit down in the basement and get vegan meals and wear a suit to court, looking all nice, neat, and clean and presentable. He couldn't have done nothing. Look how good he looks. Or Rick Allen coming into court in shackles and dirty, dirty, dirty clothes and looking like a frail guy. Oh my God, he's a serial killer. Serial killers, no, okay. Yeah. Where and according to Mercy Sleuthy, there was a time limit under Pennsylvania's sunshine law or lack of, because I saw her tweet about it, and there was so like you had a certain amount of time to get that body cam footage, and the time had passed, and we're like, wait a minute though, literally. The minute Kohberger was arrested, people were putting in that request. Are you kidding me? So don't say the time lapsed, because you should go from the date that you received the request, right? They're like, well, you've had this in for 3 years. We're going to give it to you. Well, let them have it. Just, it's weird. Are they afraid that if we talk about it too much, everyone's going to see we only had probable cause at best outside the sheath? So, yeah, Sleuthy, it's been a minute, so you may have to dig for the tweet or hit her up or whatever you want to do there. But that's what because somebody was complaining about not getting the footage. I think it was Plunder, actually. Plunder's posted quite a bit about it because she's been trying to get anything and everything out of Pennsylvania, and she hasn't had any luck yet. So Pennsylvania's over there being all sneaky and quiet. What are they afraid of? The man's in prison. He grew up and came from our state. That don't mean your whole state's bad. I'm from Florida. We literally have Florida man, and y'all would not leave that shit alone for years. Take a look around the country and get your eyes off me. Good Lord. I promise you, Florida man came from Central and South. He didn't come from over here at Northwest Florida. Promise you. Bet. Them Central to South, they're my 90% transplants, so I don't even claim them. I can't. So, trying to figure out Brian Kohberger, something we've been doing here on the channel since it was created, something I was doing from the time the guy got arrested. Who is this? Brian Kohberger. Okay. Pennsylvania? You're like, well, dang, that's a long way from Idaho, but okay. Because you wondered, why did it take so long? Or why was it taking so long? You feel like probably a messy crime scene, 4 individuals stabbed, boyfriend situation, mean girl situation, robbery, drugs, whatever. Probably wasn't too clean of a crime scene. Surely something was left behind, and if it was local, like, I don't know, say the frat boys across the street, or the weird hoodie guy, they probably would have been sloppy enough to leave some evidence behind. Even 4 to 5 frat brothers, drunken frat brothers. Can't imagine them leaving a super neat and tidy crime scene where nothing could be found to go arrest them pretty much immediately. But nothing. Radio silence for weeks and weeks and weeks, searching for this car. That's about all we know. And then here we are. The only real To me, the only, and it's not even a clear insight into Brian Kohberger and what he may or may not have been doing, but we have the Cellebrite couple. It's pointless to listen to Bill Thompson and Baby Lawyer when she does make an appearance because we're getting word salad. We're getting, oh, well, we would have never gotten the truth from the guy. How do you know? You got some experts from the FBI who said, oh, you're probably never going to get the truth. BTK loves to tell the truth. Well, as far as we know, it's all panned out so far. He does not mind to sit there and explain to you what he did, pretty much in detail, and never crack a smile, show emotion, or shed a tear. Very matter of factly. Here's what I did. Here's how I did it. Here's how I chose them. Oh, Kohbergers over here like, we got nothing. Apparently he was really good. And apparently he really did think he had that phone under control. The biggest thing in this case from the beginning, he couldn't have done it. He's a criminology student. He wouldn't have took his phone. And I'm like, well, he's a criminology student. He took the damn phone for a reason. Because it would have been so easy to say, I left the phone by the bed, couldn't sleep, went for my drive, or sitting on the coffee table, what the hell ever, beside the desk at the computer. I don't know. I left it. By the time I realized it, I'm too far from the house. I'm not going back because I know my way because I do this all the time. And it was kind of cloudy, so I didn't really need the phone for pictures. That would have been so simple and proven. Yep, phone stayed right here in stationary all night long. So why take it? Did you not realize they could tell if you physically turned the phone off versus, oops, I was out driving, forgot my charger because it quit working, whatever, and my phone died. Losing battery versus manually powering off your phone are two different things, right? So why would you physically turn it off? Well, obviously to hide something. But did he not think they would notice that he physically powered the phone off? Did he not think that part through? Did he think that some of his forensic data wiping software was going to clean that up for him in a nice little bow? It didn't clean everything, but it sure cleaned a lot of stuff. Serious? She's from Tennessee. Lord. Things we don't like to claim sometimes versus what we are willing to claim, right? Can be very different things. Can be very, very different. All right, so we've watched a couple of the Barnhart interviews here. So Heather and Jared Barnhart are the couple who work for Cellebrite, and they took a deeper dive into the phone data they received. Now, let's see, was it March of 2023? I think is when the FBI actually reached out. Yeah, March of 2023 is when the FBI reached out to Heather Barnhart. They had worked with her before on other cases, things of that nature. They had gotten the phone extractions, right, from BK's phone and from his laptop. They had all the data, but they knew it was funky. There was missing gaps. There was just really weird activity on the phone. And so when they reached out to Heather, she agreed to take a look at the data. They never received the physical phone of Brian Kohbergers. They never received the laptop. They just received the data extractions done by FBI. And then they began to do their work. And that's when they were discovering the browser history. All the photos were there. Well, the FBI knew about the photos. All the photos that we've seen, all the selfies, everything that was still there they could see, but there was a lot of things that they couldn't see as well. Girl, it was a weird one. Had my sleep all messed up. A lot of times you'll catch me sitting outside under the full moon to recharge, and I didn't even want to go out there. I was like afraid of that energy. I don't know what it was. You'd have thought there was an eclipse happening or something. It was funky energy for me. Uh, Maybe I should have smudged like super good. That maybe there was something, I don't know. Maybe I still need to get all the true crime funk off of me. So she received they reached out in March of 2023, and he was arrested in December of 2022. Now, when they began to look at it, that's when they were discovering these huge gaps in time. They were trying to figure out a pattern for Brian Kohberger. What is normal with this activity? What is abnormal with the activity? Manually powering his phone off and back on was not a normal activity. I'll do it to my phone every couple of weeks, but a lot of times I don't. Sometimes I don't even think about it because my phone will do its little update and restart, right? So I don't really ever think about powering it off. And if it's starting to act funny because I got tons of stuff on this phone, I might power it off and back on. But I never turn my phone off. I never leave it off for any length of time. I got kids. I know Kohberger doesn't, but I do. So my phone's never off. But you would see my pattern of behavior, right? With my phone. Oh, she turns it off, but right back on every couple weeks, or during updates this is happening. But Kohberger physically powered his off before the crimes, physically powers it back on after the crimes. Now, people probably going to come out with 1,000 different reasons for that. Okay, I feel like, well, it's pretty obvious what you were doing, but I don't know how he thought that would not be detected, unless he thought he would never be detected, right? But I think as time was passing, the sheath was worrying him. Oh boy, was it that was the biggest worry. The car became a real worry. And he probably wondered, did I clean up my phone good enough? Actually, it was the laptop that he did most of the cleaning on, where he got real specific. So you don't say on the laptop, huh? That's interesting. Work laptop, school laptop, data forensic wiping, mostly done on the laptop, but not the phone. Done on the phone, but not as much as the laptop. So, what did the laptop actually have on it? What did it show? We know when the gap was, and we know when the history stopped on the phone. And another similarity to another serial killer came up again. And I think everybody's a little fascinated with the let's tie him to the Bundy obsession. I never thought he was trying to be Ted Bundy. I thought he wanted to be like Ted Bundy in the sense of have that charismatic charm, where he easy to get your victims into the car. Ted Bundy had that appeal. I can just walk up, claim I got a hurt leg or a broke arm or I got a puppy. I can pick up a hitchhiker. I look trusting, whatever. He could get his victims to get in the car and go with him. Kohberger couldn't do that. We're seeing that through all the women that have spoke out. Like, well, there's a lot of the few women who have spoke out. They wanted nothing to do with the guy once they had a conversation with the guy. So getting a girl into the car, that's not going to be easy for Brian Kohberger. So I think the only obsession and fascination he had with Ted Bundy would have been to how do I be more like that guy? It wasn't his method of killing. It wasn't his choice of victims with Bundy. It was how do I be like that guy and make this a little easier going forward? They don't seem to like talking to me. You had to put the heater on? Girl, I'm not gonna lie, I'm in Florida and I sure thought about it at one point yesterday. My son would have been like, his head would have exploded, but it's a little bit breezy here. It really won't be heater weather here till January, honestly. You think so, Butterfly? Well, my top pick is still rolling. Danny Rolling. Not a very good looking guy, not a real notable guy. But boy, he loved his K bars. And he loved to break into houses that backed up to the woods. Oh, and Brian Kohberger had 2 PDFs of Danny Rolling on his phone. But they weren't sure if those were accidental downloads, because when he clicked them and read them, they just downloaded, right? But he did that twice with Danny Rolling compared to the other searches he was doing on the little serial killer website. It makes you wonder, what was this guy, you know? If you don't want to get caught, and you can't get your victim into the car with you willingly, do you abduct them out of a parking lot? Do you go break into their house and make a bunch of noise and a scene? And what do we do? Do we do like Danny Rawling confessed to doing and looking for these houses that back up to the woods? The house was the target. And why would they say that so early on in the investigation? Was that a tip from the FBI behavioral unit? Or did y'all see that browser history of all those college girls between WSU and Moscow? Which one will it be? Who's the unlucky girl? Because that's how it happened. There was way too many searches of a lot of pretty college girls that showed up on his browser history. A lot. It's one thing to look at a pretty girl, but to the point where that's all you're looking at. And then they recognize themselves on a TV screen on a Dateline episode and call the authorities and say, hey, that chick, that's me. Because that happened. So if you didn't know who your victim was yet, then of course you got hundreds of victims to choose from. So I don't think you honed in on a victim till pretty much close to October. And that's because of the cell phone data. It was normal of him to take a bunch of selfies, but was not normal for him to share them with people. The only real known photos he was sending Mother were some scenes of outside, like he would send her a photo of the snow. I'm assuming maybe some of those we saw from hiking, he might have sent her. Heather said he sent things like the sunset, photos of the snow, but never all those weird selfies of him in the shirtless. Ew. None of those were ever sent to Mother, right? But he would send her photos of the scenery, how pretty it was around Moscow. Were we setting ourselves up for an alibi? Or were we really into hiking? I'd like to know, was he an avid hiker in Pennsylvania? Probably, right? Was that something new he just took up once he got over to Idaho? When in Rome, why not? Surrounded by all these beautiful trails. Everybody seems to be doing this. I like doing that, so here I go. He needed a yeah. You're not lying, Sajoy. He's gonna be one of them 10-year college. What was that guy from Canton? The weirdo Pete, the guy that was still in college for 20 years, to the Cellebrite data dude, whatever his name was, I can't even remember now. It would have been a 10-year, decade-long course for Kohberger here to even get a little bit of personality, even a little bit. His little yes, yes. I mean, they're just, it's like Chad Daybell almost. There's nothing there. A shell of a person who obviously lived in a tormented mind. There's no excuse for what you did. Shit, you're a criminology major. You should have asked yourself, what's wrong with me? Oh, I think you did about 14. I think the what's wrong with me questions started happening around the age of 14. And I'll refer back to those Reddit posts to say that. That's where I concluded that it wasn't me just going, oh, I think this guy started at 14. That's based on what I've seen and what I've read from Brian Kohberger. He had too many questions about himself and why he felt nothing for his family. The same mother and father he was a little bit obsessed with. So what, you didn't care about them at all, or you were so obsessed with mother you're going to take a plea deal now so she ain't got to get on the stand and say those K-bar searches were mine from the family shared computer. I don't know how he ended up with it. Whiffin. Not Whiffin, Sirius. Burgess? Was it or I might still be calling the wrong guy's name. There was just so many characters in that stupid trial. Lord. The mess that is Canton. Okay, so let me get back to the beginning here. So the most recent show they did, that the Bernhardts, was October 7th of 2025. Now I can't say that's the most recent. I'm wrong. I think it's one of the most recent. I only have 3 that I really reviewed for prepping for this show. I've actually seen a couple of them, but these 3, and this one, the last one that I reviewed yesterday, was the Brian Enton piece where he interviewed them. And I don't guess I ever watched that whole thing or watched it at all. I know it was on my watch list, and I guess I thought I watched it, but I didn't. So and just comparing the things they said with the other interviews they did, and were they consistent? You know what I mean? Did I hear anything different than I heard before? Things like that. Just because you have to try to piece all this together, and it's ridiculously frustrating. Not that I want the truth, because the truth is there. He said he did it, and I have no reason to believe that he didn't do it. But how, why, all those things may not matter, but they do matter, especially moving forward in this hybrid serial killer world we're about to move into. And if you don't think it hasn't become hybrid, go ask Mr. Rex Hurman over there. Oh, what? We don't talk about him that much either because his victims were sex workers. I talk about it. Some stuff's out of hand, man. It's like off balance. Everything's off balance. Okay, so we know now that he routinely wiped the data and he used the VPNs. Now he had that eraser app or program that he was using, because I was wondering, when we first read back in the documents that he was using forensic data wiping tools on his devices. I'm like, dang. Okay, you're better than I thought you were, but where did you get that? How did you achieve it, right? What did you use to wipe this data with? Was it something from the school in their little arsenal of stuff where you learn? Or was it a program you downloaded, right? You can absolutely download it. It's still telling that he spent more time wiping the data from the laptop versus the phone. I'm willing to guess that a lot of the browsing and researching was done from the laptop. I don't know, maybe a floor plan or 2. Shit. If armchair detectives can think, wow, I should run to the real estate website right now and grab a floor plan, I don't think Kohberger had the mindset to do the same thing, including other apartment complexes he may have looked at, including other homes he may have looked at. I wonder how many browser histories there are that he wiped of things like that. Apparently, after the crimes, post crimes, he was searching the victims. That's what Heather said. So we know that the FBI reached out to her. We also heard how he had the 18 contacts. Now, uh, okay, he just didn't have a lot of friends. That just proves that more, right? I don't know what to make of the 18 contacts. I don't have a ton in my phone because I just don't need a bunch of people in my phone. I'm not out there moving and shaking like I used to. It's just no. I don't even answer this phone half the time. If I don't know you, it's not getting answered. I have voicemail set up for a reason, and you can absolutely leave a message because it's not full. So I don't like fooling people like that. So 18 contacts to me just means he didn't have a ton of friends to start with, right? Which is something we already pretty much knew from what we have heard. Girl, if y'all look, I don't get the snow like you guys, but you give me some food and some firewood and a well, my phone to read. I read documents constantly, I feel like. I can just hunker down and I'm good. Oh, don't forget the hot coffee. Mm, right? It's you know what though, y'all hear me complain about the winter. I don't like it. I don't want it to come, blah 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 blah. Here's the thing about the winter for me. I go within because I am within. I don't get to stay outside as much as I like. So I'm coming within. I also go within and do a lot of work. Some of it shadow work, some of it energy work, some of it manifestation work. It can be a busy time for a lot of people. I need to get I need to just embrace it, right? And stop fighting it because I like to be flighty and airy all summer long. Don't bother me. I don't want to think. I don't want to do it. Leave me alone. I'm breezy. Easy breezy. But come winter, that's when my work comes. So I got things to do and I just might as well embrace it and get ready for it, right? I don't know, so Joy. So there are reports that after the crimes, he was a little erratic at school, like he wasn't as well kept as he once was. He wasn't turning his schoolwork in. He wasn't grading his papers like he was supposed. All the things were starting to unravel, and he was having the communications with WSU about the complaints that were being uh, leveled against him and all of that. So I don't know. Would it be normal for him to probably use the laptop a lot in class versus the phone? But he had a lot of phone activity before the crimes, Heather noted, but not a lot of phone activity after the crimes. But the laptop had a lot of activity um, on it. All right, guys, I gotta take a break. 1 second. I have to run to the restroom. I'll be right back. Okay, thank you, guys. You're always ready for what, Carrie? I'm ready to get my groceries. I had to order groceries this morning. Like, I'm excited about getting my groceries. I likes to eat. Okay. Sometimes we have to adult no matter what we do. We had the 3 days snowstorm last year that just was cool the first 24 hours. But by day three, I was thinking, this is a nasty mess coming into my house. I don't like it. What's going on here? This is not, no. I was done day three. But my little snowman, he lasted for a week out there. And I love a little snowman. A girl from the South in the summer loves a snowman. Go figure. He's my favorite Christmas character. Is that the right way to say that? Christmas character is the snowman. I loved Frosty. Look, here's what I say, Carrie. I am nothing if I am not prepared. Do y'all have a shit and get bag ready? Just in case? No? No? Not one? Mine's never too far away. And I'm not going to tell you what it might be stocked. I need a bug out bag, right? I'm not telling you what's stocked in my bug out bag. I don't ever know when I may have to get up and go. And I like to be prepared just in case. That probably comes from being raised in hurricane country, right? Get prepared or you're just going to you're out of luck. Starve. Nobody's coming. Not even with a bag of ice or a bottle of water. You're on your own. When you grow up learning what used to be the first 48 are on you, now it's the first 72 are on you. You're like, oh, they wasn't joking. They can't even get here. 50 trees in the way. Gotta take care of ourselves if help each other out. But yeah, y'all stay prepared. You don't ever know. And if that siren for the tornado could come, you have to run to shelter. You gonna have time to go run around the house gathering up all your goods, your flashlight, your medicine, whatever. I don't know. The most important things in the world. It could really mess me up if it all goes missing and flying around. Do y'all address your mom and dad as mom and dad or mother and father? Fill the tube with water. Dandy, you've had one ready for years. You know what's up. I got my grandbaby doing that now. He's like, I'm prepared, Grandma. I'm like, yes, he's listening even when I think he isn't. You know what? It's funny though, because your kid's bug out bag. If you're like, go in your room and just get your whatever, your favorite things or whatever. Like even when hurricanes come in, if you're gonna evacuate or whatever you're doing, go get a few. What your kids choose versus what you choose is like totally crazy. Oh yeah, I got one that stays in my bag and little one. You never know when someone's gonna need a darn band-aid. So to try to put the timeline together and piece with the things they were saying in the different interviews, right? And where they come together in like a timeline on Brian's activities leading up to the crimes, during the crimes, after the crimes, things like that. And then that the Bernhardt said that they were going. Now, a lot of lay people, and when I say lay people, people who the general public who would become jurors, who don't consume true crime, who don't watch trials like we do, who don't dig into Cellebrite discovery dumps, that may not have a clue how any of that's done. We can't blame them for that. They would need it explained. That's the whole point of having experts come out for either side, is to explain the business. And it will come down to which expert do you believe? Which has more credibility for me? Which one do I feel like is the stronger expert here? Sometimes that may be a defense expert. Sometimes it might be a prosecutor expert. It really depends. Those weirdos that the prosecution and Casey Anthony brought on board, I don't even know what they were thinking. Excuse me. Like lack of experts. I don't know. Delphi comes to mind. Now, we heard during the Karen Reed trial about Cellebrite this and Cellebrite that, and people are like, oh, they're deleting things. They deleted a program that they once used to read the data, but they didn't delete the data. What the other two companies were still using that particular program. There was the difference between Cellebrite and what the other two companies were doing. They never deleted anybody's data. They just deleted a program they used to interpret and read the data. I think that totally went over some people's heads because all I saw was a bunch of screaming about they deleted data, they deleted his data. Go back and watch it again. So in the morning of, we know that he leaves his apartment, right? And he travels toward Moscow, Idaho. The phone is pinging as he's traveling to leaves a Pullman. And then there's multiple cameras that pick a car up coming down the Pullman Moscow highway leading toward Moscow. In the PCA, the phone information supplied along with where they claim they see a car, they matched up. Everybody kept screaming this noise about PCA is ridiculous. It don't make any sense. I'm like, I can't with the noise. I got to try to make it make sense. So I went back to the PCA 3 years ago and I wrote down every single time they saw a car, when, where, every single time they had a phone ping when they had them. And it matched, right? I still didn't see any evidence, just what the PCA said. But we know that he turned the phone off, manually powered it off when he got closer during the crimes, and he powered it back on after the crimes. At 6:13 that morning, he starts communicating with Mother. And that went on throughout the day at different times, all the way up until 5:54 p.m. Now, which Dolphin and I found that number, that time frame, a little sketchy, and I still need to go back and pull the document, and I got a note here to do that because they claim his phone went offline again on November 13th between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. Right, phone was off between 5 and 8 according to the PCA or the document, but here we got a 5:54 phone call to Mother. So I don't know what the discrepancy there is. If they were guesstimating the 5 to 8 for PCA purposes, I don't want your guesstimations based on my training and experience, but I don't want your guesstimation, right? Please don't. People like me will side-eye stuff like that. So he starts calling. He ended up having, I think, 3 hours worth of phone calls with Mother that day. So if you're voice calling, we have no clue what was said. Only people who know are Kohberger and Mother. So what were those conversations like, right? So he gets up in the morning. He already has that shower. Well, he didn't get up. He never went to bed once he got back home from the crimes. He takes that shower. He takes that selfie with a thumbs up, shower curtain still visible. At some point, he decides that shower curtain's filthy. It needs to go. OCD has just kicked in, but he didn't go replace it before he went to Mother's for Christmas. When did the shower curtain come down? I'm not trying to place it in the trunk of a car to throw my bloody clothes on. I could care less about where it went. He could have used 1,000 things to line that trunk with. He didn't need the damn shower curtain, so I'm not even going down that road. It's a well-beaten path. But when did you take the shower curtain out of there? Was it days before he left? Was it after that evening when we see him at the Costco and everything getting turned away at the door. You don't got a card to get in here. When did he go home and take the shower curtain down? It's my own little curiosity. I want to know. And why? How many? We saw a receipt purchase when he moved in. He bought the shower curtain. It wasn't that old. So don't give me it was old and moldy. I think he was concerned there may be residue left upon the shower curtain. Makes more sense than I need to use this shower curtain to line my trunk. Shit, the shower curtain was right there in the picture after the crimes. So obviously, he didn't use it to line the car with. But it could have contained some blood residue on it, and we don't want nobody to find that. Because if you wash it in the washer, well, then you could have went to student washing, I guess, and they may not have checked the drains for blood. Who knows? But he decides to throw it. Where'd he throw it, right? Maybe they could have surveilled Kohberger in town in Washington to see if we're throwing things away in the dumpsters. If WSU had known or thought to say, but then, we got 12,000 Elantras we're looking at all over the state. Well, this one happens to be right here, 12 miles away from the house. Come on. It's like, plop it right out of the haystack. Oh, right here. Super close to the house. Still nothing to see, right? Just another 2015 white Elantra hanging out in these multi-town situation. I can't get past that, y'all. It bugs me to no end. Got a victim sister right there at WSU all that time. Numerous other girls that browser history were popping up on. If we're freaking out and we're having all this dishevelness going on and we're not showing up to class and we're panicking, are we about to do something else to relieve the panic? Because you don't know. They had no idea. The 458 Riley was like, was that when he tried to get back on the laptop? I think it was. Or that might be the time the phone turned back on. I have to look at the notes to get the exact time of when that phone went off and when it went back on. I know the time frame, but I don't know the exact time yet. I didn't put that. I mean, I've got it in all my other thousands of Idaho notes, but one of the phone calls to Mother was at 9:03 a.m. and it was a 9-minute call. But he had several calls that he had 2 back to back to Mother. Let me get the times on those. According to what Heather says on the phone extractions. Now, she gave these phone extractions to Olivia Gonzalez. When the FBI provided them with the data, they gave them a copy of the evidence, as that was exactly what she said. They had it was all done into a zip file. They were provided a copy of the zip file. So they've had it. And you think so, Riley? I'd have to go back and watch that again. Yeah, it was the iPad, Riley, that he tried to log into. So there was that ping, right? Because apparently he was doing a lot more on the laptop than he was the phone. So Dolphin and I wondered too. So he must have had the laptop with him, right? Takes my phone and he took his laptop. Now, when he was logging into the computer, the laptop, he was using the same Chrome account that he had tied to his phone as well. We've actually got in the document, it talks about that, Riley, about where in the map he may have been located when he tried to turn that back on. And I'm going to have to take some of those documents and pull out information from documents to see if it matches what they're reporting from the Cellebrite stuff, right? Yeah, 4:48's when it came back on, right? But it went off at what, 3:50? No, it was before that. Was it almost 3, right? When the phone went off, cuz by 3:30 he's over there circling the neighborhood. And it was normal, apparently it was part of his normal routine to talk to mother and father several times a day, except for when he was in Pennsylvania, because why would he need to call them or text them when he's in the same house with them, right? And these calls and texts would start between 5 and 6 a.m. for Brian Kohberger, his time. I don't I don't know, a couple hours behind him his parents are. Yes, Joy, he was near Blaine, thank you, when he tried to access the account. He bought the inverter, Rachel, but why, right? Was he ready to bug out and skip town? The heat is on. They're looking for this car. You're now he's at home back in Pennsylvania, even to the point where he's looking into getting rid of the car. So I'm wondering, why buy an inverter? I know what it ones. I have one. I know what it's for. I'm not knocking him for having one, but it's odd that he had one. He's not camping. He's hiking. What are we doing with an inverter? Plugging in your stuff. I mean, you don't want to plug it into the car powering system to charge. You're gonna plug it in with your hard wired wall plug. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know what he was doing with the inverter. My first thought, honestly, when I saw inverter was, dude is gonna get it. He's out of here. Where's the Canadian border? I gotta go. That was my first thought. Not that he was held up in a shack under a carport or a hidden garage deep in the forest, I think, with some high powered lights cleaning my car. Nah, that didn't happen. Not like that. I mean, good theory, I guess, but no, 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 no dice. At 9:03 that morning, he did have the 9-minute call with mother, and then just a couple minutes later, he's on another call with mother, and it's like an hour, almost an hour and a half long, and that's the time he was headed back over to Moscow the next morning. We'd heard about them talking about that. Now, Heather says when they discovered that on the data, they had no idea that at that time frame he was also headed back over to the crime scene, because they weren't looking at, all that stuff. And then it was brought to their attention. But that is the same time frame that, remember, we had all heard in the early documents. The PCA talked about it, how his car appeared back over near the King Road residence that morning. It was there for a few minutes. What was he doing back over there? Contemplating going in and looking for your sheath, wondering why there's no police activity yet. There's probably a lot of things going through his head. My first thought, if I'm Brian Kohberger, was, oh crap, do I go back in? Do I go look in that back parking lot? Did he ride back there? Wouldn't Linda Lane or 1112 see him enter the area? If he did drive back there, yep, absolutely would have. We haven't seen that yet. All they have said is the only reason they know it is because the phone pinged near the residence, placing him near the residence on November 13th around the 9 a.m. time frame when he's talking to mother on the phone. Because if he'd have went into the neighborhood, it'd be on video, and there would be that too, and not just phone pinging near the area again. Well, what does that even mean? Did he go stationary in that area? Did he just drive around the city for a moment? Did he park? I mean, they have to know a little bit, of what he did during that time. I guess if there's no indication on the phone, searching up something. One of the selfies he took, I think there actually might have been a couple, but one for sure. And we haven't seen this. I haven't seen it yet. Maybe some of you guys have, because apparently Ashley Banfield, y'all, you mainstream media, y'all come to YouTube now because you can cuss. Well, because you got big sponsors. I don't. You can cuss. You can drop the F bomb. You can dive a little deeper. You've seen what Heather's talking about, but you haven't put it out there yet, Ashley. Wonder why. Were you asked not to yet under seal? Hasn't been unsealed yet. If anybody wants to rip Kohberger to shreds, it's probably going to be you, Miss Banfield. So why are we just sitting there with some pictures and text messages we're going to look at and say, oh, I've seen that? You've seen it, huh? Okay. I don't know, Riley. They don't want to show us anything about this guy. I mean, they're going to have to eventually when they finally, you know, completely unseal all the darn documents. Um, it's so frustrating to hear everybody say, oh, talking about these interviews and victims and all that. And of course, we're going to do all that, but we can't talk about this guy a whole lot because they're not putting it out there yet. We're not trying to preserve his right to a fair trial. That's over with. They tried to guilt us into doing that. Like, shh, you're gonna cause him not to get a fair trial. It's gonna be all your fault. Oh, okay, Ann Taylor, calm down. I just said he looked weird. That's all. We need a lot of missing information still. A lot. And isn't it is it telling or not? Okay, are you that person that if you reach out to somebody, say you call your friend, your sister, your mom, a coworker, whatever, you text that person, they're not responding. Do you reach out to other people immediately? Hey, have you seen so and so? They're not responding. Or do you give them a minute in case they're in the middle of something? I know people who will absolutely start reaching out to you every way they can. You're not answering me. Chick, I'm in the middle of cooking dinner. Or I was in the shower. Whatever, But Brian Kohberger didn't like that. They say the minute he would text mother or call mother and she did not respond, he was immediately calling or texting dad, wanting to know, where's mother? Mother's not responding. So, I mean, being a mama's boy is one thing, but did he, it feels like he's super dependent on mother. And we know that from a long time ago, his mother did post in that Reddit group about her baby going away for the first time ever and leaving home at the age of 27, 27, 28, to go attend college at WSU. Her baby. Well, my baby's going to always be my baby. Got it. But ma'am, this is a grown man you should be celebrating who's moving across country and fulfilling the rest of his college career, right? To then set out on the world and do good with his criminology and criminal justice studies. Instead, it was all about my baby's leaving. I hope he's going to be okay. And then dad gets there and starts making friends, all chatty and up in the parking lot. Hey, this is my son. Be his friend. A little odd for a grown man. And a lot of kids today, you take to college, they don't want you trying to make their friends for them. They're like, you're embarrassing me. Shut up. Ugh. Right? Why do you have a phone if you don't answer it? About the only people I will answer to are the kids, but they know if mama don't answer, mama's busy, she'll get right back to me. But they also know if it's super important or an emergency, blow that phone up, I'm coming. He did seem to be obsessed, Rachel, with them being responsive to him, right? Was it all about me? Was it always a struggle to keep Brian Kohberger in line and on an even kill? Because I promise you, by the time that boy was 9 years old, he already had a host of issues, and his sisters knew it. They lived with him. How far did mother protect him? Sometimes mothers will sweep it under the rug, they'll turn a blind eye, he'll grow out of it, things will get better in time, all the things. A lot of times it will. Boys will be boys. A lot of times it goes a little deeper. Exactly, Sajoy. They said that there would be times where the text and phone calls would happen late night, even and it was almost as if he needed them to coax him into going to sleep and relax him almost. So I feel like taking care of Brian Kohberger was probably an exhausting feat, right? That I feel like it was exhausting to be his parents. It was probably exhausting to be his sister. If you had to live with, he's trying to get away with all this stuff, mom's letting him. I don't know if that was the case, but it feels like that might have been the case a little bit there. Mom lets Brian get away with this. Mom's going to protect him. So one of the photos that Ashley or nobody else has put out there yet, and maybe it's for privacy reasons, you're not giving the roommates a lot of privacy here, but there was a selfie he took when he was in Pennsylvania at Christmas break, and mother is sitting right there, but she's in the background. Now, I don't know if she's like looking at the camera weird with him, or is she just sitting in her chair in the background? And the way he took his selfie, he got mom in the background. Was that to remember her forever in case she decided to run to Canada with your little inverter after you sold your car? I don't know. I can imagine. What do you tell your grown son? I mean, I can give you advice on maybe some tips on how to help you get a good night's sleep. Dude, I don't know. Go get some melatonin. Take your meds. I, you know, that's still 28 years old to be having to tell your kid, it's okay. Calm down. Get some sleep. You got a big day tomorrow. I just felt like it was exhausting to deal with this guy. Now, here's one we haven't seen, and I don't know that we will see it. I don't think I want to see it. I I saw Stefan Stern's junk, and I think I was traumatized for life about seeing any man's junk ever. I don't need it in my life. But I will say I looked for them weird markings that Jen didn't know existed on that thing because she never got to see it. Anyway, back to the business. So apparently, according to the Bernhardts, Heather took the phone, right? They both began work on the phone extraction. Then at some point, Jared continued to work on the phone, and Heather took more of the laptop. Or I may have that backwards. So one took one and one took the other. Now there turns out there was either a now this is still during the court TV interview that aired October 7th. Now Jared says he said he couldn't remember if there was a video or a photo. It was one of the two. And Kohberger is pleasuring himself. Yeah. Good dude. We got the photo in a discovery dump and it wasn't blurred. I wasn't the only one that saw it. Of course, I never put it out there. It's quite gross. But yeah, guys, why would Kohberger have an image or a video on his phone of him pleasuring himself like that? What's the point? Woozy. Ew. You know how when you were little and your mama said, "Don't make that face, it'll stick." You're going to be stuck with that face. It's like, why, butterfly? Why? Why are guys obsessed with it? Or why do we need to video it or take a picture of it? That's the voyeurism, right? He searched that. He was into the voyeurism, but on yourself? You want to video or photograph yourself? And what are we doing with it, dude? What? Why? I don't get it. Yes, Woozy, that's the one. They made him where they made him take his pants off. And the lady with the camera, she's like, "Don't try nothing foolish." That may not have been the exact words she used, but she was about to approach the junk to get some photos. She's like, don't get squirrely on me, dude." Mm-mm. Apparently not, Pammy, because 90% of the photos he took, he never sent to a single person, including all the ones of him with a thumbs up hiking all over town. He didn't send them to anybody, especially the ones of him flexing in the mirror, shirtless, and all of that. Yeah, Riley, it is in the Court TV piece that aired October 7th, 2025, where they say that. And again, nobody has talked about that a lot out there. I haven't seen that. I don't want to see it, but we know it's there now. Right, right, Woozy. It's just another one of those weird yet interesting things about Kohberger. What kind of person was he for real, and what can this tell us about him? I don't know. Right, Rachel? She would have dropped him to the ground. We'd have loved to have seen that, right? If he'd have just flinched and she'd have been like, "Oh, heck no, not today, Bubba. Not today. This ain't no Jen Soto you messing with here." It would have to be so hard to do their jobs sometimes. Okay. Now, when you go look at the contacts that he had, two of the interesting things they did say early on when they came out and started talking about the phone, that of the 18 contacts, two of them, at least two, were girls. And one of them, it because he's got mother and he has father and he has his sisters. I'm assuming maybe some school contacts or whatever. But one of them he had labeled is "girl I ran with," and then the other one was labeled "second girl I ran with." Was there only two ever? Where's third, fourth, and fifth? Do they not have names? It's as a wonder he didn't put "good birthing hips" down in parentheses or something. Hmm. So when he was using his incognito searches, and because he was using the VPNs, he would search under incognito and he would scrub things from the phone. But what he didn't realize is when he autofill would save things he didn't think it would save. And it wouldn't erase those items the way it would from the actual history, the search history, and things like that. And so they finally figured out, and because people have said it different ways, right? I've heard he touched the Wi-Fi at the Mad Greek. He's connected to the Wi-Fi. He didn't. He didn't connect to the Wi-Fi. He didn't touch the Wi-Fi. They didn't shake hands. He was never on their actual Wi-Fi. What he did do, and they said the only reason they know it was because of autofill stuff being detected. But when he went into Google Maps, he did search Mad Greek. But they don't have a timestamp on the search because of his wiping of the history of the search. I know, how can they still tell that it was there, but they can't tell when? Because of the way it retains the data. So when they pull up the Google Maps, they could see where he had put in the terms Mad Greek. Now, was he going to go over there and check out the food? I don't know. Something tells me, nah, it wasn't about the food at all. It wasn't about some little old vegan pizza. I don't think, I just can't buy that in my head. I can't explain that away. I can't make that be like, oh yeah, he was just looking for some food. Well, there's a lot of places to look for food. I get it. But I just find that, would that have been some of the circumstantial type stuff that Anne wasn't going to have in court? And how much of it was the judge going to agree to? So when you go back and you look at the dateline, even the leaked information, that browser search history and all that, does that matter? Is it relevant to the actual crime? Can you prove that my client had all those photos because he was stalking these women looking for the perfect victim? You can't. I don't know how much of what they did recover would have got to court. Heather also said they talked with the prosecution before they were notified of a possible plea agreement. They were notified ahead of time. But she said they were also in the plans for probably doing a mock trial. So the prosecutors could be in tune with their experts in explaining all of this to a jury and what BK was doing. And she said that they were really going to be testifying to the lack of evidence found on the devices. That he was so good at wiping what he did wipe, that alone would prove that he did something. Now, okay, maybe, but can you pinpoint a lot of things for me here, right? He really only had 5 registered Wi-Fi networks saved on that device. One of them was WSU. The others, I'm assuming it doesn't say. They don't say. I'm assuming they were local to right there somewhere around where he lived. More than likely, maybe a couple. Maybe the family home Wi-Fi was also one that was saved. Maybe his apartment. I don't know. But he only had like 5. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that again, Riley. Seen so many back-to-back documentaries, they all kind of run together after a while, right? As to which one did what and had shown what or whatever. The information they obtained from the Google Maps was located in what they had a passive assist file on the Google Maps. It retained the search there, but they just couldn't pinpoint a time. And I wonder if they would it have lined up with one of his phone pings near the area. So when he was at home in Pennsylvania, he wasn't calling or texting with anybody, right? Because, you know, why? I'm here with mom and dad, so nothing to text about. I'm just reading over my notes too, guys, to make sure we don't miss anything. Because I'm still going to be putting down to a more, I'm building a more comprehensive timeline of what we have found out and can I match it to anything in documents, right? That's where my mind is going. They're not going to give me the work. I got to go do the work. And I'm like, sometimes I don't want to. And sometimes that's all I can think about. Um, Butterfly, 6 months as a lead investigator. Love my salty fam. And we love you, ma'am. We love you. My girl right there. My mods are excellent. You guys all, thank you for being here. I appreciate y'all coming, joining the conversation, listening to me talk about these cases, and y'all chime in because I love to see what you guys have to say. In fact, I need to pull up my chat on my phone because it will not keep up on Restream, and I have no clue what's going on. That's my bad. Uh-oh. I had a missed call, didn't even know it because the phone's on silent. Okay, let me pull this up. Sirius said Stefan Stern's gives her bad nightmares. Well, just rest assured knowing he's having nightmares, right? He's afraid that some gang is going to get after him. Oops. He's he's scared. He's a little scared. He had to get moved to another Florida prison. It's scary at that one too, sir. Heck, even the federal prison down here in Pensacola, old Todd Chrisley's got issues with it, and it's a federal prison. I don't think prison's supposed to be pretty. We know that Kohberger had the strange searches on his phone related to porn, non-consensual acts came up. The R word, I can't say the actual word. YouTube don't like it, where a woman does not, agree to what you're about to do to her. Drugged, sleeping, and the voyeurism. I'm like, dude, voyeurism, how many women have you snuck around and videotaped besides the neighbor that you installed the camera for? That was a new way in the door, right? You finally found one that would talk to you and you took full ass advantage of it. Studying Bundy, huh? Just a little bit. I wonder how many other times he attempted to video someone without their knowledge. Was he like a peeping Tom too? Did he sneak around and look in their windows, or was it just something he was interested in, right? Did he just want to watch people engaging in acts? Did he want to videotape women showering, getting undressed? Weird. It's like that weird obsession that so far out of the normal realm, right? So far out of the normal realm. And what causes people to be like that? Are there any societal reasons? Are there any early indications, mental illness, specific types? I'm talking about the deranged sex act stuff. Now, some serial killers absolutely turned on by all that. Some it's not about that at all. Some it's about both. Yeah, we hope that Stefan Stearns gets everything he deserves. I think he will. I rest assured that those men incarcerated in my state are keeping a watchful eye. Now, hang on, because I had another. Let me see, where did I put that? Okay, so when he first called Mother, that was a 54-minute phone call. And then later he had a 9-minute phone call. It was almost not long after the 54-minute phone call. Why would he need to call her back for 9 more minutes? This is during the time frame he's going over to Moscow, revisiting the area of the crimes. And then again, like I said, the 3 phone calls that day, and one being allegedly placed once the phone was turned off, according to the PCA, which maybe one of the documents, the motions in limine, I'm reviewing those now, and I'm waiting on those to become unsealed, if they, with redactions, I'm sure, with redactions. Oh no, you're too late for the morning McD's. You gotta get in there and get you some lunch instead. Man, last night I wanted a snack, and I'm like, I'm gonna go make me a grilled cheese. And then I opened up the refrigerator. I was like, oh, heck. I ate my last piece of cheese. I had to get something else. Don't worry, it's on the grocery store order. Ed Gain called his mom mother. Who is that butterfly? I have totally missed. Is it a serial killer I don't know about? Link me. Okay, it's only 9:50 where you are. It is 11:51 here. I've been rolled into the lunch hour. Now again, they haven't found any evidence on any of his devices, phone, laptop, nothing that tied Kohberger back to the Papa Roger account. And if any of you who don't know who that is, it was a weird account that came out with a weird profile picture that, oddly enough, from the side looks like Brian Kohberger. They began making all the strange posts in the Facebook group about, oh, I think there was a knife used. They could have left a sheath. Things that nobody else seemed to know or should know, this person seemed to know. They can't prove it was him. Well, probably not if you wiped all the evidence clean. I don't know why that's a big mystery to people. They didn't prove it was him. Yeah, no, he wiped his phone clean, or his laptop. I don't know if he was Papa Roger or not. If he wasn't, whoever you were that were behind that account, you're a freaking genius. Can we just say that? Oh, okay. Pammy says he's the granddaddy of serial K's. Maybe did he have alternate name that I know him by? Look, that name may be filed so far back there that I done forgot about it. Because I've been looking at this stuff for 40 years. So, but that name just did not. When I'm seeing you guys talk about it in chat, I'm like, who are they talking about? Why do I not know this? Chainsaw Massacre. Oh, okay, now I know. I never knew his name. Just the Chainsaw Massacre guy. Y'all probably think I'm an idiot. Well, didn't Psycho did he call his mom mother? Yeah, y'all gotta tell me what they did, what they're known for. I might not know their name. Okay, so let me get back to my notes here, guys. I need to put a timeline together too for a visual thing. Just throw it up on the screen, make it look all fancy and neat around here, like we got some kind of polished up producers. Y'all get me the hot mess express from time to time. So he would call and text at night looking for the help to get to sleep or to get some rest and fall asleep. Was that an assumption they made, or did they see a text that says mom saying, go to bed, honey, everything's good, you need to get some sleep? They didn't elaborate, right? But the timing of the calls, was that what that was about? If we don't see it in the text, we don't really know what spoken words were all about. And boy, would we have been able to put Mother on the witness stand and had her talk about some of those conversations that popped up on that phone. Let's say during that 9 a.m. phone call when he was allegedly returning to near the crime scene, would Mother have come and be put on the stand to testify about that conversation, or would Ann Taylor would have been able to get away with hearsay? Did that worry Brian Kohberger? Mother's going to have to get on the stand and testify to that one phone call. And was that enough for him to say, put the brakes on, I did this? Mother's the whole reason we took a plea deal. I think I'll die on that hill. Unless Brian Kohberger himself comes out and says, no, you got that all wrong. I don't even care about her. I just wanted to go see what prison was like. I couldn't wait to get there. Vent people and all. Forms to fill out and complaints to be had. What the heck? So they also said during the Brian Enton piece that, oddly enough, okay, so when you go to getting into the actual wiping of the phone and trying to build a timeline on what this guy was doing in his head. So he gets there in July, August, September, October, November, we have a quadruple homicide. 5 months later. He didn't know anybody in the area, was not familiar with anything or anyone around him, didn't know the school, but here he is. When they started to look at the phone, they noticed that browser activity was present throughout all the way up to September. July, August, September, we got, and I'm going by July because that's when we got there, right? So just start there as my jumping point. July, August, September, I've got browser search history. It's all there. But starting in October, all the way up through November, there's none. Did we just hone in on the time you honed in on your victim, Mr. Kohberger? Because I find that a little telling. We wondered, or I wondered, how long before the crimes did he choose a victim? How did he choose the victim? And don't say it doesn't matter. Because it does matter in the study of criminology, and Mr. Kohberger is aware of that. Ask his professors. The how, why, when, and where all is important. Especially when you got hybrid killers on their hands, making out planning documents like Rex Heuermann, and pizza crust might be a problem in the future, and I better wipe this phone clean or they're going to see everything I was doing. Okay. Now, when you go back to when he arrived in Pennsylvania, we know he was there, until he was arrested. We know that they received his name when he was in Pennsylvania from the FBI, and they began surveilling the home and watching him. And they could see his coming and goings, through that. Now, he turned that activity back on. The browser activity comes back online after the crimes. We also know that he also stopped using his debit card. That's in the court documents. There's just so much to piece together on a timeline where everything can match up instead of being scattered in 1,000 different places, right? Because I'm a little tired of tearing apart what these roommates and these witnesses saw. And I've analyzed the inside of the house, looking at the crime scene, trying to figure out this guy's movements inside the home. I don't want to hear Dylan tell me a description of what she heard outside her door and me go to the bank with that. I'm not doing it. I can't deposit that mess. So I got to figure it out on my own. So I've looked at the crime scene. The table wasn't knocked over. It may have gotten bumped at some point. I don't know what the flashbang was Bethany saw or heard yet. Hopefully one day I'll get there. But putting together this dude timeline and piecing it all together visually is like, it's kind of like the PCA. It was a hot mess. So he gets there and he's taking selfies, inside the house. We saw selfies in the kitchen where he's in there. There was some, the one they say that he's got mother in the background. He's just in there flexing. And Christmas night, though, is the night he started searching the serial killers from that website, right? And we all went and reviewed that website already and talked about who all's on there. And that's when they realized that they're looking at the activity. He was going down the line and clicking and reading about different serial killers. But he clicked Danny Rollins twice and was reading that on the same night. That's when both times it downloaded the PDF to his phone. And it was there. I'm going to have to go back and read that whole. We have the website, so I want to go back and read that whole PDF file. Because when I read a long time ago, because I'm in Florida, I've passed right by the mural in Gainesville where Danny's victims are placed. Just like Idaho 4 victims, these were young, beautiful, innocent girls. And I was in Orlando during his trial on a totally unrelated matter. I'm sorry, not Orlando, in Gainesville. And just riding by that mural, and it's just like, it makes stuff surreal, right? When I read a long time ago about Danny, and he used the K bar. And then more recently, when I revisited some stuff about Danny Rollins' case, and I was like, yeah, he tells them in the interviews, I only went to the homes and apartments that backed up to the woods. And I was like, that's so interesting to know. How do they choose their victims? BTK, there was no rhyme nor reason. You did no looking a certain way. He didn't go for the petite blonde or the tall brunette. He didn't have a type. He had a victim in mind. Who's going to be the easiest to target? Same thing with Danny Rawling. Why do we not think Kohberger was doing the same thing? The hundreds of browser history photos of all these random pretty girls tells me you were absolutely looking for a victim, that you didn't hone in on one yet. I don't know. Did you pick her out come closer to October? When did he realize that house backed up to the woods? Did he follow one of them home one day? You got to follow your potential victim home to figure out where she lives. Surveilling. Stalking, but not stalking technically. I don't know what the law is in Idaho anymore. I don't care. I know what I see when I see it. You followed somebody. Call it what you want. You got to follow them home to know where they live. Then you got to assess the situation. They got big dogs, big barky dogs. Oh, they got a big husband. She's out. Got to mark her off the list. That's not a stretch. Or she's extremely beautiful. I'm obsessed. That's the one. Could be. But I think it's got more to do with that house was the easiest to get in and out of undetected. And they also made it easy, unfortunately. Not victim blaming, being honest. The video evidence is out there. Witnesses have stated how easy they made it. Unknowingly made it easy. Again, sit your kids down and have a conversation about things like that. It's time. I don't know. My mind just went back to the damn no charges in the in the little prison league video. Oh, I should have dropped a poll. Do you guys agree no charges should be filed, or you agree, hey, was good for the goose, is good for the gander? Anybody else would have. I really don't feel some kind of way either way. Us. Well, you talking about Kohbergers complaints? He was on the verge of getting fired in his activity with the school email. So after the crimes, the uh, Bernhardt said that the activity on the laptop picked back up, but his phone was pretty much kind of like there. Like there may be some emails, but that was really about it. Um, but that's also during the time that he was communicating with the school about possibly being fired. But yeah, you got complaints coming in left and right about this guy. You got a professor over here stating, "Oh, I knew he was going to be a psychopath." It, that's too much. And then when I get aggravated even more, when I think about how WSU didn't tell them about that car, for whatever thousands of excuses or reasons, 45 days lapsed from the time the crime was committed until Brian Kohberger's phone was taken into custody along with Brian Kohberger. Roughly 45 days. Natural purging of the phone occurred on top of forensic data wiping. So if people don't think it was unimportant for the ball to be dropped about that car, I beg to differ. I think it could have been a different outcome a lot sooner if they had known about that car at WSU. I don't know, what, 12 miles away? Wasn't a stretch for me to say maybe the year. Are y'all sure? Can I see the video? Nothing wrong with one cop questioning another cop. It's called checks and balances. Hell, you got nurses in the hospital. I'm giving 7 units of blood. The next nurse will call out loud, 7 units of blood. Checks and balances. Don't send one tired, overworked individual in there. You send 2 to make sure the first one didn't make a mistake, because someone's life could depend on it. I'm not saying it's that serious with this car, but it could have been with Jasmine Kernodle wandering around WSU, not knowing who just murdered her sister. And the guy happens to be like, did she pass him in the hallway? Did she pass him at the campus cafeteria? One of the little vegan restaurants that she stumbled into by accident? I don't know. A lot of things could have happened, and a lot of things could have been recovered a lot sooner. But we're going to play around and pretend like that was just a little mistake with the WSU car discrepancy bullshit. There I go cussing on YouTube again. I ain't even watched their little warning video about all that mess. They're going to tell me I can't have ad rolls because I cussed once or twice? Well, shit, this is America, and I'm a grown-ass woman. Because when Ashley Banfield was talking on her live or her video, whatever it was, she was looking and reading from what Cellebrite provided her. And it was absolutely text messages between Kohberger and Mother. But why have we not seen it? Are the pro-burgers going to get mad if y'all release it and I talk about him? Because I don't care. Why should y'all? No, I say y'all, I mean not y'all. Y'all know that. It's weird to me. Maybe I should pack my patience and wait for it all. Is it all sealed, really? Even the non-relevant circumstantial stuff? I wonder if Heather Bernhardt would email me a copy of those data extracts. Because I'll certainly read them. I'll show them text messages on screen. Who are we going to protect today? Not Kohberger. We're going to file lawsuits and try to get redactions in body cam videos, but we're not even going to release Kohbergers. We're okay with that, families. Are we really okay with that? Show the world what this monster was. I'd be getting that in Discovery myself and leaking it all over the damn internet. Y'all think y'all seen leaked video? Here. Watch this shit. Well, so Joy, here's the thing. I don't know that they did. Here's the cover up and the big problem and the only problem in the probable cause affidavit on the arrest of Brian Kohberger. They lied. Again, why is it so important, Salty? The WSU stuff, blah, blah, blah. Because the PCA tells us WSU found that car. The probable cause affidavit says the car was discovered by Washington State University officers. And when they looked up the person who owned the car, the photo ID came back with bushy eyebrows. Really? The car y'all didn't know about for a long time? Here it is living large in the PCA as if that's what got you to your guy. But that was the big secret, and the cover up was right there because we didn't need everybody to know we used IgG because we're not sure how they're going to feel about it. And we're not sure yet what Ann Taylor's going to do about it. Because we did slide in the back door, but y'all get used to it because it's coming. That's why it bothers me. I don't think IgG needed to be lied about to begin with. It's not lied about in any of the other cases we're looking at right now. All IgG is every damn where being used. Current cases, cold cases, middle of the road case. But it's a secret in Brian Kohberger's case. Y'all not sliding through the back door in all the cases. Just this one. I don't buy it for a second. Hell, you knocked on BTK's daughter's door and told her DNA from her female exams, her private medical records, matched your serial killer as her father. Can you imagine getting that knock at the door? You did what? You got my DNA. How? But we would rather just throw shade at some IgG and cover it up with, look, we found this WSU cop found this car. He saved the day. He noticed the bushy eyebrows, the whole 9 yards. La, la, la. Woozy, another member for 3 whole months. Ew, as sweet as your iced coffee. Yummy. Now you got me wanting a big cup, ma'am. Ooh, I should make some in a minute. So 3 days prior to the murders, Kohberger turns off his Wi-Fi. Now, I don't normally keep the Wi-Fi on my phone because I knew 20 years ago, 10 years ago, really, these things are tracking everything I do. I don't need you to know what I'm doing. If I ask you to do that, fine. But if I don't ask you to do that, get away from me. I don't run the Wi-Fi on my phone. You know why? I pay for phone service and it's really pretty good and I don't have any issues. So I don't need to run off your free Wi-Fi when I'm sitting there eating my French fries. I just don't need it. I'm good with my own private phone service. I've heard about the stories about people who's sitting over there trying to clone my phone and steal my this and that. Get out of here. Who does that these days? Okay, I guess a lot of you do apparently. The one time I did have my Wi-Fi on my phone, it saved me, so I shouldn't complain. I should probably embrace it, but I don't like to embrace things. I like to resist it first. That's just my nature. It depends on what it is. Invading my privacy, that's a little different. Anyway, so he turns off the Wi-Fi prior to the killings. That was not a normal procedure for him to do, right? So it wouldn't have been considered normal activity. It would have been considered abnormal, like powering your phone off and back on. But he turned it back on after the crimes. Why would you need to do that during days, like literally days before and days after you're back online again with that? There's no explanation for something like that. Is it circumstantial at best? Probably. But it builds a pattern of behavior that was abnormal, right? And could lend itself to a crime about to go down. And again, they found the Mad Greek search in the passive assistance file under the Google Maps. Um, the stargazing. I almost pulled up that alibi. I read that thing from time to time too when I'm bored and want a good laugh. So the night of the murders, BK pressed the off button on the phone and he powered it back on. What was missing from the phone from that night? Photos of the stars and the moon and the cloudy sky. And some will say, well, what's no good pictures to be had that night, Salty. A lot of the photos we've seen that come off the phone were taken during the daytime. So according to Ann Taylor's alibi, when he got to town, couldn't sleep, it was normal for him to drive around, stargaze, and to take pictures depicting the night sky. There were a couple of pictures on there, according to Heather, that had the moon, more sunset pictures. Where's all these nighttime sky where's the Big Dipper picture? How good is your zoom on your camera, buddy? How good is your nighttime photos really? I think your phone wasn't that expensive. I think mine's better. Yes, Joy, his searches became increasingly odd, didn't they? Including possibly selling your white Elantra. Like, what? Can I see that, please? Can I see the history on that? So, the Brian Enton interview was like August 18th. And then I think it was, let's see, what date did he do that interview? Or they do the interview with Banfield? So we had the October 7th, they did Court TV, which was the recent one. August 15th, they did the Banfield piece. And with Brian Enton, that was done on August 18th. And they went into a little more, he asked a little more detail about the phone and laptop. They're getting a lot of the same questions from a lot of people, right? And everybody's trying to get to like what's really there. And they're like, well, do you want to take that, or do we share? Y'all got the report. Just they were going to, Heather said something about, not in one of these three interviews, but one of her other interviews, about setting up a website to put the information out there. But I know she said she wanted to go give it to Olivia Gonzalez before anybody else. So I don't know what's going on with all that. But I'm willing to say Olivia has it because of that TikTok. She's reading from something. And the things she's saying are extremely peculiar. And as I'm sitting there watching, I'm like, girl, are you reading that Cellebrite report? DM me. DM me. She's going to be like, no, Salty. I'm just going to go live on my TikTok with it. And another thing about Danny Rollin, he not only used K-bars and liked houses that backed up to the woods, he also liked to wear a balaclava-style mask. Because not everybody's like Bundy and can just get him into the car. People like Rawling and Kohberger has to come up with alternate method. And plus, you also, some of them will be more into scaring their victim through the whole process. Some will start out, I'm that nice guy, I'm here to help you. Weird thing to say, isn't it, Kohberger? If that's really what was said. I can't trust that. That could have been one of them lucid memories from the movie I watched earlier. So I don't even know what to make of that. I'm putting that I'm here to help you statement into the bag with flashbang outside the door. I don't know what the hell that was. So I'd mentioned that he was logged in under the phone and the laptop under the same Google Chrome account. He cleared more from the laptop than he ever did the phone for whatever reason. Um, and the FBI explained to them there was just this really large gap in time, and they couldn't explain it or how it occurred. Um, so they thought for sure, well, we'll find it all, we'll figure it out, we'll give you guys everything that we can find out, which they did. But what they found out was he wiped the phone. So they discovered, that yes, it had powered down completely, that he turned off the Wi-Fi days before the crime, which was unusual for him to do. There was about 45 days between the arrest and the crimes, which allowed, the natural purging of the phone to take place anyway. Um, the FBI cast was able to pick up cell data after the phone was powered back on. Obviously, they couldn't pick up any cell data once the phone powered off. From the time it left Pullman till it got powered off, they could pick him up headed toward Moscow. Then, of course, it goes dark, and then it comes back on as he's about to re-enter Pullman after the crimes. They said that once the phone was powered back on the 13th, all the way up until the arrest, there wasn't a lot of activity on the phone itself. Most of it was sticking to the laptop. Yeah, so Joy, how all of you guys. So if you're Brian Kohberger and you know you done what you did, and you know you forgot your sheath, left it, whatever you want to call it, and you're driving around this 2015 white Elantra, and the whole country is looking for this Elantra, how concerned are you that they're going to get better at deciding what year that car was? Was it really not too much of a thought in the beginning? He's like, oh God, I hope it's all so grainy they can't tell even the color, make, model. When did he become increasingly aware they were closing in on a car? Because he had to look at all the different aspects, right? Yeah, they got the sheath. I wonder what he was thinking in the back of his mind. Are they working some IgG stuff? Or will they? Well, they'll never find me because I'm not in the database, right? Even if they get a DNA off that knife sheath, they're not going to find me. I'm not in the database, whatever. But oh, sorry, my animal just distracted me. Hang on, I was looking at your. I was doing three things at one time. Sorry, I was trying to read a comment. Then the animal distracted me, not extracted. All right. They know that there was email activity on his phone, but no other real activity. I think the emails were probably back and forth with the school or whatever. So I don't imagine too many folks reaching out to him via email, unless he's like us and he gets just junk emails. And of course, they were going to testify to the lack of the evidence. Now, on November 16th, days after the crime, the eraser file was found, and he used it on the 16th. So just the couple of days later, he was already, still wiping things. But they said that activity, when they found it and it came up the eraser app, they weren't sure if it was part of like his virus scan protection that he already had on the phone, or if it was something he manually caused to happen on that particular date. I would say if he was wiping, yeah, that's probably what he was doing on that day when y'all found that file. It was like he was a security conscious user, you know what I mean, with the VPNs and going incognito, things like that. But you have to wonder, why would people do all that? Now, did he make any mistakes? Yeah, I think he made a few big ones, but I don't know. Those mistakes didn't help the investigators, right? And if you take the sheath out of the equation, completely out, and IgG is gone, WSU over there thinking the 2015 can't be the car, would we still be sitting here wondering who committed these crimes? Without the Ridge Road video they finally obtained, and were like, aha, 2015. Either way, he was going to try to get rid of that car or jump across the border. I'm not sure. Probably both. Get me a new car and then jump across the border with my inverter. So autofill, bookmarks, and downloads, those aren't done in like a private manner, and they're not normally easy to clean up on a phone. And like I said, they mentioned that he only had 5 Wi-Fi networks saved to the phone. He didn't actually connect to the Mad Greek, but he did search it under the Google Maps. On the Christmas night leading into the 26th, that's when we know he was doing the serial killer searches on the website that he was on. And he was clicking and reading things and downloading that's when he downloaded the 2 PDFs on Danny Rawling. But on December 15th, there was some sort of, I think it was maybe email communication, but that was the 15th. There were problems with the professors not turning in work or grading the papers. He didn't attempt to clean up any email apparently, so those emails I guess are recoverable, and I'm assuming that's where they got the information from, because it says on December 15th there were noted problems with the professor. So I'm assuming they see that in email exchanges on that date. But by the 29th of December, that's when he was becoming increasingly paranoid. And that's when he was doing the search for the psychopath, paranoia, serial killer, wiretapping, federal wiretapping. At 9:02 a.m. on the 29th is when he did the wiretapping search. At 9:08 a.m., he read a New York Times article. December 29th, he reads a New York Times article at 9:08 in the morning, and the article is completely related to the search for a white Elantra. Can you imagine? He's probably riding around his hometown and wondering, am I being followed? Paranoia, right? He's over there Googling it. Am I paranoid, or do I got real reason to worry? Is it just me being paranoid again? Well, you should be paranoid. You did it. I don't understand that, but I guess maybe he had a tendency to be paranoid. Oh, wait, he had the green leafy substance. Was he one of the people who get paranoid on the green leafy substances? Oh, Lordy. Usually those who experience paranoia due to marijuana don't do marijuana anymore. And he had green leafy substance when he got arrested. And I don't knock the green leafy substance by no means. Nature's medicine. So he reads an article at 9:08 about the Elantra, then turns right around 1 minute later and reads another article from another online website about the murders itself. And then after that, he turned around and searched auto detailing near the home. Wonder how many times he actually scrubbed that car down, guys, between the crime. And also, I wonder, we've seen footage from the 13th, him going to the Costco, all that. Do they have him on footage anywhere in Pullman or any town in between on camera at a place where you can get your car detailed? Or did he sneak out into the woods and set up some lights in a secret house and do it all himself? I feel like he might have went somewhere. He might have cleaned it out himself, the prelim cleaning. Did he go to one of them vacuum, you wash it and you vacuum it places and you do it yourself? I don't know. I like to see that if we have that information. It's not been brought out anywhere that I've seen that they can see him doing things like that. But so he's searching it though on December 29th. You know darn good and well he's already cleaned that car. a couple of times before the 29th, but he's like, yeah, I better go do it again just in case. Just in case of what, sir? He was also searching possibly to buy the new car, a new used car, searching different makes and searching different models. Now, was he planning on trying to take that Elantra right back where he bought it and trade it in on another vehicle? Because I don't know, because Ann Taylor subpoenaed the guy who owns the car lot in Pennsylvania. Why? Why would the defense need to do that? What's he going to say? Nice guy? Sure, he bought that Elantra. Well, heck, that's not going to look good for your client, ma'am. Why not the prosecution get the guy from the car dealership in? Hey, this guy call you up or hit your website up about possibly trading in the car? A little confused by all that, but whatever. They say he was searching up about possibly searching for a new car. So what, that paranoia getting worse and worse each day. And they were watching him by this point. So did he feel that heat? Did he notice something? I'm super hyper vigilant. You're not going to follow me and me not know it. You're not going to watch me and me not know it. I promise you that. I don't walk around blind in the world and just everybody around me, I'm in a bubble. You might think I'm in the bubble, but I see every single person around me. I got one eye on everybody. I don't know when I need to run. And I'm not staying behind. I don't know. Did he notice something amiss, right? We saw in the documents how they claimed he was standing at the back door, the back slider, looking out into the wilderness, watching the drone fly above. Can I see that footage too? I want the drone footage of him standing in the back door. And y'all also claimed you could see him doing things. I want to see all of that. I want to show that body cam footage up here on the YouTube screen. Not Hunter Johnson being all distraught because of what he found at the hands of Brian Kohberger. Post-crime searches. He searched victims' names. He had a lot of hits on Reddit. He watched YouTube videos. We knew that. We've seen the serial killer videos and the streams about the case. He downloaded the information flyer from the Moscow Police Department. Proud of your work, buddy? And not only was he watching these YouTube videos, he was taking screenshots of the phone. Like, showing the thumbnail. What, does he think he looked cute on everybody's thumbnails? Look, I made the big time. I'm on their thumbnail. Them and their 500 subscribers has been a good a bat for me, wide open, and I'm here for it. How many times that dude sit in Dago's live stream? Lord help us all. He probably thought he had hope back then. Damn it, man. Kohberger, you got duped, dude. Oh boy, did you get duped by all that mess. You probably thought you had a shot for a minute. Here, Ann, look what YouTube's saying about me before I got arrested. You just go run with this. Subpoena their whole show and look at all the good things that were being said about me. I couldn't have done that. I look nice and neat and presentable, and I go to college. Now, they asked if he was participating in the Reddit, like actively posting and things of that nature and conversating with people. So one thing they said that I found super interesting is, I guess I just either didn't see this or watch it or whatever. We know that he made the Reddit post way back in the day about how did it feel after you committed your crimes and things of that. Everybody's like, oh, you can't make anything of that. He's a criminology student, blah, blah, blah. What about this one I'm about to talk about? Because apparently this one was totally unrelated to school. Because at this point in time when he was doing this, he didn't seem to care about school. He was already having the issues. The emails were flying around. The complaints were everywhere. He was about to lose his job and he knew it. But he posted on a Reddit thread. Ex-cons was one of them, and something to do with prisons was the second one, according to Jared Bernhardt now. And in those posts, he was looking for people and their experiences on prison. This is post murders. Wasn't part of school research. Now all of a sudden he went from tell me how you felt when you committed a crime and what you did afterwards to tell me about prison. Wow. Just in case. He was still getting email responses as of late December concerning the post on Reddit about prison. But I don't hear people talking about that too often out here on these streets. We're going to go talk about the Kohbergers and how they made me mad today. We're going to go watch some more videos and talk about how this is rehearsed and they're lying. Could the real evidence please stand up? Because I'm a little tired of all this fake. That's interesting. All of a sudden, now I need to know what prison's like just in case I think they're following me. They figured me out. Damn WSU cops didn't turn me in when they found my car, but ugh. That FBI car guy kind of hold that Ridge Road. One of the videos he watched post crimes was about a K-bar. They didn't elaborate on if it was a live stream talking about the K-bar or if it was just a video on K-bars. That I don't know. And again, it was taking the screenshots of the thumbnails and things like that, and the searches that he didn't know that would stay in autofill, the sleeping and the voyeurism, etc. Artifacts were present, but the history with timestamps was gone because of the wiping. And really, that's really what they have said consistently through all their different interviews. Now, I hadn't looked up all their print interviews yet. They did quite a few of those as well. It's just a matter of them saying certain things, and then they may say it one way here, but over here they may drop a time to go with whatever that was. It's like, wait a minute, this is scattery. We don't like scattery. We like it to be cohesive. So I'm going to sit down and put together a visual just on the information we're gathering from what they've come out and said about the case. I feel like there's just so much more there has to be so much more that we don't know. We'll learn eventually once these docs become unsealed with redactions, of course. Moscow hasn't put anything new out since the Laramie case settled, or they made their decisions there. No new documents have dropped in Idaho 4. They should be at the deadline. That should be coming down any day, though, actually, because they got in there. The judge wanted them to get in what they wanted redacted and what their objections were and all of those things. And that actually should be happening sooner than later because all those documents have come down now. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as it comes down. And I don't know, guys, just this case bothers me. It's always bothered me the way it was handled from day one. I never agreed with it. I get why you claim you need gag orders on certain things, especially if there's an open, ongoing investigation, like apparently was still happening in Delphi all that time, and I don't know, still is. You got a case closed here. No appeal. Richard Allen going up for appeal right now. 2 different cases. Let's not twist it. Kohberger is gone. He said, I did it. Y'all stuffed him away in the Idaho prison where the vent people can have their way and people can film him. Thank God for the vent people and the filmers. Otherwise, we wouldn't know shit about Brian Kohberger. Isn't that odd? But y'all want us to come out and tamper it down. We shouldn't be tearing apart victims for no reason. I don't like having to watch Dylan Mortensen over and over make a fool out of herself and me have to say ugly things about a young girl because I can't help myself because it's true. I'm a little tired of it though. I want to tear down the Kohbergers of the world. I feel like we don't. Why are we coddling the people who are bad? Right? I'm so sick of that becoming the normal in society. Y'all are so mean. Are we? Because the guy that did this is apparently pretty damn mean himself. I didn't walk into a house and unalive anybody. So don't come at us. Tell them, y'all, don't come at us with your weird stuff. We don't want to hear it. Well, guys, thank you all for coming in and spending the day with me and just talking about this. It's been running around my head for a couple days. I'm like, these guys have said so much, different places. I kind of maybe want to take a notes on it and maybe build a little visual timeline on what they're doing here. Hey, 12 gauge. Don't know if you're still in here, but thanks for popping in. Joe Schmo. Joe. Oh, wait, did I not? Well, damn it, Joe. I sent you a text this morning, but I never sent hit. I never hit send. I must have got distracted. I'm like, wait, he never responded to my text. And I'm like, oh, well, I didn't send it. So I guess if you were in trouble, that wouldn't have mattered, right? I'm glad to see you're safe. Um, Joe, I was wondering about you this morning as to what was going on in your little world. So hopefully Joe's got something coming down the pipe here soon to work that he's working on. I don't know much more about that. I'm not going to say much more. Joe's got it. He'll put it out there when he's ready. You guys stay tuned for a little something coming up from Joe soon. And we'll be there for it. Everybody, thanks for coming in and sticking around with me. Hold on. Yeah, tomorrow's Friday. Feel Good Friday or whatever they call it. We'll be back in the morning with the show, guys, and we will update with updates if need be. I'm looking at a few other things here this evening. I do have, like I said, a couple of big shows coming up for next week where we deep dive a couple of the cases we're looking at so we can all be caught up on how it started, how we got here, and where do we go from here kind of thing. So we're on the same page about things. All right, Pammy, thank you for coming in. Always a pleasure to have you here and to see you. Sunflower Souls, Joy, all my mods, everybody in chat, all you listeners who just like to listen and not really chat it up. We appreciate each and every one of you. If you guys could hit the like button for me, I'd really appreciate that. It does help us out here a little bit on the channel, helps us grow. Hopefully will bring us some more cool people into our community here. All right, guys, y'all go have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you all for watching this here video. Please like and subscribe and follow. Much love from Little Yas to each